What's up, guys? It's Lacey here with Keller Williams, South Tampa, coming at you with another Millennial Monday. All right, so today is all about you, renters. I know that I don't spend a lot of time talking to renters, and in Florida, honestly, the need for a renter to be represented by a realtor is pretty minimal. In certain situations, you might need it, but in most, you won't. But I do work with an investor who gives options to renters that you guys might not know about. So if you're currently renting and you feel like there's not enough options on the market to meet your standard, like you're not ready to buy a house for whatever reason, maybe you want to wait a few years, it doesn't matter. You've chosen to rent, maybe you're in this area for a short period of time, you don't want to commit to it, that's okay. But you want a rental that's up to your standard of living. And that's why I work with an investor who will do just that for you. I want to tell you a little bit about that today, okay? So the way this works is that you would have to get pre-approved through that investor, right? So there's a process that you go through to make sure that you qualify based on your income, your credit, all that fun stuff. So it's a little more rigid than just an application for a standard rental. But once you're approved, you pretty much get a pre-approval to go shop for a house. And I know that sounds too good to be true, so let me kind of explain this a little bit. Let's say you get pre-approved and you can afford $2,000 a month in rent. Let's just say for round number sake, that equates or that breaks down to $200,000 for home value, right? So then you take that, and then me as your realtor, you and I use that as leverage to get you into any home that's on the real estate market for sale under $200K because you're pre-approved for it through the investor who's going to buy that and rent it back to you. Does that make sense? The investor pre-qualifies you. If you are pre-qualified, you're allowed to go shopping on the real estate market with a realtor like you were buying a house, but it's just for a rental, all right? And you're not under any long-term obligation with it that comes with 1 year increments for your lease period, and they're very transparent of all that up front, okay? So that's pretty neat, right? It gives you a level of autonomy that renters have not really had before. And if you find a house that you really like that you don't want to buy, but you would love to live in, this is a great way for you to get into that place. And again, the investor purchases it, you rent it back from the investor, okay? Now, what's in it for them? Obviously, well, I guess it's not obvious, but a lot of people do regard having rentals in Florida or in this area specifically as being a worthwhile venture. And I agree with that sentiment myself personally. But moreover to that point, obviously they'll make money off of you being their tenant and whoever comes to take over the house after you leave, all that fun stuff. So they'll have that rental, right? But you also have the option to buy it if you want to. It is also a rent to own program. Now, the reason I'm not leading with that is because I personally don't like it as a rent-to-own program for a couple of reasons, but primarily being that when they go to sell that home back to you, you're absolutely going to pay top dollar for it because they've got all the leverage because you're already in the house, right? So I personally don't like to position this as a rent-to-own program because I do feel in a lot of ways it can be very predatory. And if you're interested in buying a house and you're qualified to buy a house, I'd rather just sell you a house. And if you're interested in buying a house, but you need to work on your credit, let me get you hooked up or, whatever, your debt to income, let me get you hooked up with a lender who can help you out with that. But I would not personally advocate for using this program as a rent to own. I would advocate using it as a great way for you to have complete autonomy when choosing a rental that you want to live in. So does this make sense? I'm more than happy to talk to you guys about it. I know it seems a little bit too good to be true. It seems a little bit weird, right? But I'll be more than happy to chat with you and get more information over to you. It is a fantastic option for renters in this area who are not quite ready to buy for whatever reason. Maybe you just don't want to be committed. Maybe you're not ready. That's okay. But we'll talk about it. So you let me know. I can find you a rental. Okay? You guys have a great day. And as always, have a happy, healthy, productive week and stay blessed.